Hello my crafty friends and welcome to my YouTube channel Corrine's Crafts. I hope you're all well and have been making some wonderful crafty makes recently. Today's Tuesday technique is all about creating a highlight within your card. It's almost like a spotlight onto your project. So most of it's black and white with just this center in color. You can have it smaller, you can have it larger, you could pick out a couple of smaller ones. I've done this with this gorgeous stamp by Stamps by Me, but you could be doing it with any stamp you want. I hope you love the effect of that spotlight in the center, almost like a magnifying glass, and I'm going to show you how to make it. I love it when we can make cards that are a little bit different, and today's Technique Tuesday is certainly that. So it's, as I said, it's all about creating what looks like a highlight, a spotlight, should we say, onto the element of our card. So I found this gorgeous stamp set. It is a Stamps by Me one, but from Tony Darroch, but I've had it for years and years and years. But you could be doing the technique I'm going to show you with absolutely any stamp you want. So the first thing I've done, I've got my stamping platform here, is I'm going to pop this onto my stamping platform. Let's put that there. I might need to move my magnet in a minute, and I'm firstly going to stamp my gorgeous butterfly. It is a big stamp. Look at this. My piece of card is 5.5 by 7 inches. I will trim it down a little bit when I have finished. That's not going to be my final size, but I just wanted to make sure I could get right to the edges. So I'm going to pick up my stamp. You can see I've been using it, and I'm going to stamp this one in black. Now I will need to stamp a few times. When you've got a large stamp, you often do. Again, I'm stamping with an alcohol proof ink pad, and I'm stamping onto alcohol card. But this technique that I'm going to show you works brilliantly, moving everything, works brilliantly with watercolour as well. So if you want to swap the ink for a waterproof ink and you want to swap the cardstock for a watercolour card, then go for it. Please just take it as inspiration, because both effects are absolutely amazing. But look at that, isn't she? I'm going to call it a she, because it is a she. Isn't she the most beautiful butterfly you've ever seen? Now I'm going to do one more because I just want a little bit more blackness. Is that the right word? A bit more blackness in the centre. So I'm going to pop that over here, and I'm just going to pop that through there. There we go. And once I've done that, I'm then going to take that stamp off. And I've actually created myself a mask just out of masking tape. You can find that, or you can, masking sheets, whatever you want. I know Sticks 2 do some masking sheets. All I did was stamp it onto a piece of masking tape, which is just reminds me very much of post-it notepads. It's about the same thickness, so I stamped it on and then I cut it out. I don't have a die for this stamp. I don't know if there is a die for this stamp, as like I said, I've had it a very long time. There possibly is, I don't know, but I just hand cut the masking sheet out. So I just want to pop this over there and pop that over there. And the next thing I'm going to do is I've got a script stamp, you can see, and all I'm going to do, so this is where I said I have to move the magnet, I'm going to lay my script stamp over here, so I've got it right to the edge. This is where I said I'm going to trim it down when I've finished. Oops. So pick that up. There are so many script stamps. This actually isn't real words. Now this is why I had this ink pad on my desk. I'm going to be using Flagstone. It's a dark grey, so it just takes off a bit of the harshness of using a black. So we can pop that onto that side. Now you'll see what I've done is by putting over the mask, I'll show you in a minute. So I'm stamping onto the mask, but that's absolutely fine. So next I need to do is I need to actually realign my sentiment stamp. Put it on the other side, pick it up, and then stamp that one too. So we can stamp on there, and that is going to go just like that. There we go. Now don't worry if your script doesn't all come out, because part of the effect of this is to have it not perfect script as well. And like I said, remember, this script I know for a fact isn't real words, so let's not try and read what it says. So we're now going to lift up our mask, and what I do, these masks are reusable. There's been no water or anything. You find if you're doing it with watercolour, they're not very often reusable. But look at that. The integrity of the stamp below is absolutely perfect. So none of that script has gone over that butterfly. Doesn't that look amazing? I love that. So the next thing you want to do is take a shape. Now I'm using circles, possibly a little bit predictable. You could be using hexagons, squares, any shape you want, a heart, whatever you want. So I'm going to lay that over the top there, and then I'm going to get my cutting plates. I've got my regular cutting plate, and then I'm going to go in with my plastic shim, and then I'm going to go in with my top cutting plate. You'll see I've missed out my magnetic shim. I've done that on purpose because I don't want to put any creases in my image by having it too strong a pressure. So we can take that out, we can open this up, and then, oh, we've taken this out. Now you could do this with two of these, and this one could be layered back on top of there, but I found I can do it this way. So what you want to do then is you want to get your pens and you want to start colouring. So I am just not going to colour that one, that's going to stay there. I need a little bit of cardstock to go underneath this, and then I'm just going to colour on here. So I'm using my alcohol pens, and I'm just going to colour just on here. So I'm coming on with my light pink, just around the outside where the flower is most open, and I'm going to just, before I go any further, put a nice yellow in the centre where the stamens would be. Now remember, because I've done an alcohol proof ink pad, it's absolutely fine, it's not going to smudge. And then I'm going to come in with my next pink. I'm going to look at where it's going to be darkest down at the bottom, where it overlaps, and then maybe some highlights. I'm going to go in with a slightly darker one just at the bottom. Remember, alcohol ink blends perfectly, so we can come down here, and then I can come back in and blend it. The blending is what makes all the difference. You blend up to that line, then I'm going to go in with my palest. Now remember, as we always say, alcohol ink dries, evaporates as it dries, get the words out, and so your effect will change. Now I'm just going to colour all the flowers and up the wings of the butterfly until I've got this effect. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Then I wanted just to add a little bit of a highlight, so I've gone round with a pale purple ink. I wanted a really pale purple, so I've just gone through there. But doesn't that look gorgeous? Now I'm going to actually take the one that came out of this one, just so that I know that it fits perfectly. And if I line that up, I can see, look at that, that lines back on there. Absolutely fantastic. Now you could just leave it like that and you've got that spotlight, and you see all I've done is I've trimmed down this piece and I've used the same purple to edge. But I like the effect that you get when you pop the black and then you line it back up. Now look at that. So you've got that pop of colour in the centre and the black and white around the outside. Doesn't that look brilliant? So all I would do next is I've taken purple because it's going to go with the bits that we've highlighted, and I'm just going to use a wet glue to stick that down onto my card base. And my card base has just literally come from folding a piece of A4 in half, because I've got it to 5 3/4, so you can just get it on. And then I've trimmed it down to 7.5, because it would be 8 1/4, wasn't it? A4 is 8 1/4, so it's literally the full width of the A4 trimmed down to whatever I just said, 7.5, and that's my card base. Then, because I've used black, I'm going to go in with another piece of black, and we're going to pop that onto there. That's going on there. You can see I've just done 1/4 inch. I do like 1/4 inch layers. I do think they're very, very elegant. Let's just burnish that, give it a little rub. And the next one I'm going to go in with is the one where we've literally cut this out. And I'm going to lay that down flat. I definitely want that lay down flat. Make sure I've got the ink right to the edges. And you'll see I've just added a few little very random black gems. You can do it with like liquid pearls or your gems. I've just popped those on like there. Then the next thing I want to do is pop my foam tape on. Now this is my Sticks 2 roll of foam tape that I've just got in the last few days, which is my lovely big roll, and I know you're all loving that. And I'm going to pop that into there, making sure I've got it nice and even. And then the final bit I want to do is glue on the back of there, and then I just need to, like you see, got some lines, so, and I've got some flowers here, so just make sure you line everything back up. Look, lining up the wing, just there and just there, and then the flower or the petal, no it's not, it's a leaf just there. Doesn't that look amazing? That pop of colour in the centre. Now on that stamp pad, that stamp set was a sentiment, never doubt yourself. Now can you see I've done 1 layer of foam tape across the width and 2 on a little bit, because that's right, this piece is 1 higher than that. So all I would do then is pop that along there, and that to me is the perfect card just to create that spotlight effect.